One angle here is 360. But I don't still have this angle. Before I take you to the question you're going to be seeing on bearing this year in your WAEC Mathematics, I want to go through some parts of this bearing that you need to know in order to tackle those questions without needing anybody's help. Now, mathematics bearing. What is bearing? Suppose there is a marketplace over here. Now, this marketplace, there is a mango tree here. Are you getting me? Now, somebody is here, and this person asks you for the location to this mango tree. There is a road there. You say, that's okay, move straight. You're going to see this mango tree. If you see the mango tree, you're going to take by your left hand, go straight, use the word. You're going to see the marketplace. Now, what have we done? We have given a word direction. You will normally tell somebody, if you reach that junction, go by your left, you do, you're going to reach where am I? You normally give direction on a daily basis. But then, when you're talking about bearing, you are going to give the person direction using a what? An angle. I get it. Now, if you want to give a direction using an angle, you just say the person, okay, from where you are, turn 30-degree north. I get it. The person will turn 30-degree east. I mean to say, the person will.
All right, so before we continue, please share this video, like this video, comment on the comment section so it can get to others. Then please don't forget to share.
Move straight. Say if you turn 30-degree north, you move what? Straight. You just move straight. The person moves to what? To the market. This is what? Direction using what? Bearing. Is it understood? So bearing is out of what? Giving a direction using a what? An angle. Are you there? Now, having known this, from what we know so far, I want to talk about. I'm going to tell you 6 things on this video. This is the first one, definition, and the second one. This now, this line and this line are perpendicular. Something straight, another one falls straight to it, form perpendicular, and here it forms angle 90 what degree. Here is also form angle 90 what degree. We can make this more go back, and we still have perpendicular here, form 90 degree, form what 90 degree. Now, this is not telling us what is going to result if from here to here become 90, from here to here, making it angle at a straight line become 180, from here to here, making it what 270, 180, 90, and from here back to here, angle at a point, sum of the word 3 what 60. Now, what is it all about? Now, here is the north pole, here is the east pole, here is the what south, and this is the what the west. So now, if somebody is moving from here to here under 60, 30, 80, the person must move from here. If somebody is moving under 100, the person has entered here. 91 has entered to this quadrant. This is known as the what? First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and what? Fourth what? Quadrant. Hope you understood. So from here to here is 90. If the person pass 90 something, you enter here. If the person pass 180, you enter here. If the person reaches 270 and above, maybe you have 280, you reach here. Are you getting me? Now, how do we follow? We have 2 types of bearing. There are 3. The first one is compass. The second one is 3 digits. Are you getting me? Now, what is compass bearing? Suppose we draw this back again. This is the north, this is the south, and this is what? West. Now, this is, remember, we are talking about rotation here. Now, compass bearing has the 2 arms where you're going to start. It is normally northeast, from here to here, northeast, from here to here. If the person wants to go here, it's also what? Northwest. If the person wants to go from here, it is called what? Southeast. If the person wants to enter here, it is called what? Southwest. Are you getting me? Now, when you're talking about compass bearing must bear the starting point of that person and what? Ending point. I get it. The starting point and where the person is facing. For example, if you have north 30-degree east, it means that the person will start from north, move 30 degree, going towards what? East. Let's say we also have north 30-degree west. It means that the person will start from north, move 30 degree, going towards west. Now let's represent this one. Representing 30-degree east, north 30 degree. You know, the person will start from north. Where would the person face? Will he face west or east? You will face what? East. Now move 30 degree. You are not measuring to scale, but you know that 30 degree must be under what? 90. So you just make anywhere you stop, you stretch. This will become what? 30 what? Degree. You have represented this. Now what about 30 degree west? Starting from north again, you're going to move 30 degree. Which side? West. This side, I think you move here. Now this is how what? 30 degree what? Not 30 degree west. I get him. You can also come from here. You don't have east 30 degree. You don't have east 40 degree south. It cannot be like this. You cannot start from here. To start, you're going to start from here again. I get him. So now let's represent that. Suppose the direction is going to be here. We are going to have south 30-degree west. I get it. South 30-degree what? West. So if the person will start from south and be going 30-degree west, I get it. The person will stop and start going what? Straight. Just like the person under 30-degree start going to the market. The person here, maybe where the person going is this side, is not under what? Not south, not east, sorry. Not under what? Not east. Now the same thing, if the person is from the south and moving 30-degree towards east, the person will move like this. And the person will just turn. This 30-degree means the turning. The person will turn and start moving what? Straight. Are you getting? Hope you understood this. Now this is under what? Compass bearing. Compass bearing bears the starting point and the what? Direction the person will follow. Are you getting? That's the starting point, direction the person will follow. So when we enter into 3-digit bearing, if you go to 3-digit bearing, what do we now have? 3-digit bearing does not have a starting point, but the starting point is always starting from the North Pole. This is the North Pole. It must start from the what? North Pole. That is where the question is going to come from. North Pole is where you're going to start under what? 3-digit bearing, and it doesn't have north as the beginning. It has what? 0, 0, 1. It could be 0, 0, 1. It could be 0, 20. It could be 0, 30. It could be 0, 30. For all you know, the number must start from what? 1. Maybe if I'm to represent this now, what am I going to see? Is what? 3 figure. 1, 2, 3. 3 figure or 3 digit. Now it is 1, 2, 0, 0, 1. Means that angle is 1 degree. Now this place is 1 degree. You see it? So I don't need to bother where am I starting from. I must start from what? 1. I'm just measuring 1 degree. I'm going to start from north. I get it. What if I want to now measure 20 degree? I'm also going to start from north because this is 1, 2, 3, 3 figure, 3 digits or 3 figure bearing. I don't need to know is it east or west. I'm going to start from here and go. Do that. Now, what if it is now 0, 90? 0, 90 is straight like this because from here to here is what? 90. I'm starting from the what? North. Now, what if it is 102? Now 102, how am I going to represent 102? How am I going to represent 102? Know that from here to here is 90. Now 102 enters here. Are you getting? Now I'm going to draw from here. I'm going to stop here. Anywhere I want to stop. Since it's not measured to scale, I can stop here and draw this. This becomes my what? 1 what? 10 what? 2. What if I want to measure 150? 150 also going to fall in here because from here to here is 180. Are you getting? So I'm going to measure from here now. 150 must enter here because from here to here is 180. So 150, I can decide to stop here, and this becomes what? 150 degree. You see? But now there is something. There is a trick you must know. What if you also want to represent 230? Where is 230 going to fall? Let me light this so you've seen it. 0, 90, 180. 270 and back here is 31. See, so where is 230 going to fall? 230 is going to fall under this quadrant. I get it. So 230 is going to fall this quadrant. If I start from here, I must stop on this quadrant. That is where 230 is going to fall. So if I'm representing that, what is it going to be? From here, 230 must be here. I've represented it. Do you get? Do you get? Now, what is the need? What else do you need to know about this 3-digit bearing for us to be able to answer this question correctly? Now, 3-digit bearing normally does not have these things. You don't need to show this on 3-digit bearing. I get it. Let's say we are to represent 150. You just start your line from here and just draw it. You know that 150 must be under here. This is your word, 150. So this is the way you represent it. I get it. If you want this way, if you still want to make it like this, you'll still do it. I get it. However, if you represent it like this, let's also see if you can represent 230. 230 in this form, you know that you must start from the north. You don't have to tell you where you're starting from. You start from here. 230 must fall under here. So you go like this, here, you stop. Here becomes what? 2 what? 30. You get. However, like I said, let's now say we want to represent this 150. Something is going to happen now. 150, represent it. From here now to here. You know that 150 fall into here. Now, if you don't want to start from here, you can just calculate how many it enters to this place. I want to represent 150. How many angle enters to this quadrant? From here is 90. So 90 minus 150 is going to give us what? 60 degrees. So it means that The person enters on this quadrant under what? 60 degree. I'll do it like this. This become what? 60 degree. This is also acceptable because the person know that it must start from what? The north. Nothing like east south. It must be what? North. Starting from north. So this one is also what? Acceptable. Now, having known that, we are still going to use all of this to answer questions that we are going to see on this topic. Now, the last one you have to know is back bearing. I get it. What is back bearing? Before you know what is back bearing, let's say that somebody is moving from, let's say that A from B. What does this mean? A from B. You always get to know what this means. A from B. What does it mean? A from B. Where is the starting point? Where is the destination? A from B. It means that the person starts from A from B. No. The person is at what? A, but the person came from what? B. So A from B means that B is the starting point, but the person is at A. I get it. A from B, where the person start from. The same thing as C, or let me say point C from A. Point C from A means that A is what? Starting point. Now, what if we now say under back bearing? What is now saying if the bearing of A from B is 30 degrees, what is the bearing of B A? Let's write it down. If the bearing of A from B is 30 degrees, is 30 degrees, what is the bearing? What is the bearing of B from A? If the bearing of A from B is 30 degrees, let's represent it. What is the bearing of what? B from A. Now, if bearing of A from B, so this is point A. Are you getting me? Point A. If bearing of this point A from B, where is starting point? Starting point is what? B. So that the person moved from B, point B, under the bearing of what? 30 degrees. Know that you must start from what? Not 30 degrees, and the person is now at what? Point what? Point A. So the bearing of A, if bearing of A from B is 30 degrees, what is now the bearing of B from A? Are you getting me? A from B equals 30. What is B from A? Unknown. Now, B from A, you know that if the person moved from here now, the person was at the starting point is B, so the person turned from B like this after moving straight. And when the person reach here, the person now wants to come back. That's why we call it back bearing. If the person is moving from A now back to B, means that person is coming back. That's called what? Back bearing. Now, that bearing must also start from the north pole. And how is the person going to turn? The person going to turn from here now. The person will turn like this. So and start moving straight. That is, the person will turn like this now and still follow this same line and start what? Coming back. This is what? Back bearing. It must start from here. Now, how do we now get the bearing? Remember that bearing is the what? Angle. So how do we now get this angle here? From our knowledge, if you watch my previous mathematics tutorial, I told you something that has to do with cross line like this. This is a parallel line. This is an transversal. Now, transversal form alternating angle, and alternating angle are always what? Equal. So that if I should from here now, if I should extend this line and extend this other line, this becomes a transversal of these two parallel lines. And because of that, angle here will alternate to this small angle here. So if here is 30, here is going to be what? 30. But is this 30 our only bearing? No. Because the person must turn from here. Now, what is from here? You know that this is a straight line. From here now is 90. So here is what? 180. Now, 180 plus this 30 degrees will now give us this total bearing of the person turning. I get an angle that the person turns becomes 180 plus 30. That 180 is from here, 30 is here. 180 plus 30 is going to give us what? 210 degrees. So the back bearing is what? 210 degrees. The bearing of what? B from A. So now the person will return back at B under the bearing of what? 2 what? 30. Hope you understood. Hope it is clear. Now, I want to give you another question. If the bearing, if A from B, or let me say, if B from A is 150, I get in. What is A from B? If B from A is 150, what is A from B? Let's represent this one first. B from A is 150. Where is the starting point? A starting point. So B from A means that the person is at point A. Now the person is at point A, move on the turn on a bearing of what? Turn on an angle of what? 150. Now remember I told you if you want to put this, you want to put it, if you want to read it. So we're going to calculate what 150 from here. Remember that 150 is going to be under what? This second quadrant. So I can decide to what? And this is what? One word. 50 degrees. That is B from A is what? 150. So this point is at point what? A. Right? This point now the person is at point what? The person is now at point what? At point A. Then I ask you, what is the bearing of A from B? What's the bearing of what? This point B. What is the bearing of A from what? B. So it means that the person moves from here, turn at 150 and start moving straight. The person coming back must turn again. And the person will turn from the North Pole and start and we also follow this line back to where he started from. Are you getting it? Now, how can we get this angle over here? Remember, this line are always parallel. If I should extend this line here, remember this is coming like this, though I did not put it. If I should extend this line here and extend this line here, this will become a parallel. This now become what? A transversal. A transversal. But there is something you have to know. Not all this angle is going to alternate to this angle here. I get it. Remember, there is a line here. You get. Now we must find this little angle. From here to here is 90. 90 minus 150 is going to give us what? 60. So it means that this small part here is 60 degrees. Whereas the whole part, the whole journey, if you want to trace it from here, it's still going to give you what? 150. Now it is this 60 degree that is alternating to this other angle here. Which is 60 here going to be what? 60. I get it. But is this angle the only turning that this person is going to turn? No, the person is going to turn from what? North to this place. But we have gotten this small place here to be what? 60 from what? Alternating angle. Now, what is now going to be this other side? Remember, here is 90, here is 180, here is 270. Now, 270 plus 60. 270 plus 60. I get me. Put 50, you're going to do what? 320, put 10, 330. I get me. 330 degree. Now 330 degree is going to be what? The back bearing. 330 what? Hope this is clear. This is what I'm going to. This is the last question we're going to solve under this 3 degree bearing. Now let's now move to what you need to know in tackling question. But before then, I want to ask you if B from C equals 250, yes, 250. What is C from B? Let me know in the comment section. Like this, let me know in the comment section. You get it? Now, having known that, that is question, let me know in the comment section. Now, what are the things we need to expect on solving question in PLN? This is now where we are starting. And starting is very easy. Don't be afraid. Now, suppose somebody starts from his house and move on a bearing, which we do not know, and reach to a point. Let's call this point over here. The person did not just end here. The person also from here that the person is also turn again and start going to another location. You know that if the person is turning, the person must start from what? From this North Pole and move to another location again. That is making the what? The second location from his house. He moved to this place. Here is the beer parlor. Now from this beer parlor, he now moved to his what? Their friend's house. Now the person is now on his what? Their friend's house. Let his house be point A, the beer parlor be point B, the other house be what? Point what? C. Now this is the way that question is going to come in. What do you know about this? They will always ask you to find distance here. They have started though. They will always ask you to find what? Distance from the last destination to the what? Starting point. Distance from the last destination to the what? Starting point. Now, before we can determine this place, let's say that here was 1 kilometer. He moved 1 kilometer to this point. And again, he moved 1 kilometer, he moved 2 kilometers. Or let's just put this one. So I'll make the calculation easy for me. 1 kilometer to this point. Are you getting me? Now, what do we know? The person will not just move a kilometer, he will move with a bearing. Let's also say that the person moved with a bearing of 30 degrees due just a 30 degree to a point B, and again move on a bearing. We cannot say it is 30 degrees because here is greater than what? 30 degrees. Here for me it's greater than 30 degrees, also greater than 90 degrees. So it must be 90 something or 100 and what? Something. Let's put it as 120. So the person now turned under 120 degrees and started going to this point. See, now the person is as here, is at this point. But let me ask you, what is the distance from the person's from where the person starts from the last destination from point C to point A? They will ask you this distance. Remember, you know this distance, you know this distance. You have to find what? This distance. Now, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? Now, I want to teach you something before after that. And let's before that, just look at this diagram now. If you look at this diagram, you have to complete this place. You complete the angle that you're going to see here. How can you complete this angle? Remember, this is here. Now, you must complete this to make this to form a what? A usable what? Triangle to calculate whatever you want to calculate. Now, this angle 30, like we have done before, we alternate to this angle over here, making here to be what? 30 what? Degree. Do you get me? Also, you need to get this other angle because this is just a triangle. This is the arms of the what? Triangle. You need to complete this angle. You're getting this one to be 30. What is this one? How can you get it? Remember that this place to here is 90 degrees. Now, that's why I want you to be careful in when you're determining your angle. From here to here is what? 120. But what is this smaller place? I need to get this smaller place. If I get this smaller place, minus it from this 90 degree, I'll now get what is remaining here. Now, if here is 90, it means that the person moved on this quadrant under what? Under 90 minus 120, 30. So here's what? 30 what degree. Together with this 90 degree, here's 90, here's 30, making what? 120 what degree. 90, 30, making what? 120 degree. Now, if here's 120 degree, consider this quadrant. If you consider this quadrant, find out that here is 90 degree. Total angle here is 90 degree. Now, 90 degree minus from 30 degree will then give us this remaining angle here. 30 degree minus from 90 degree is going to give us what? 60 what degree. So the whole angle here is this plus this. Now this plus this, 30 plus 60 is going to give us what? It's going to give us 90 degree. Hope you get it. Now this is where our lovely question will start. So the first thing, after you've drawn the diagram, if you have to draw a diagram, you must draw a diagram. You're now going to do what? Complete this angle. Remember how I did it here. The person must move greater than 90. So you must find that small angle that the person enter into this quadrant, which is 30 degrees, in order to minus it from 90 degrees to get this angle. And this one must alternate to this one to get a complete angle here. Now, how can you get this? Very easy and simple. Pay attention. Very easy and simple. There are two tricks that nobody will tell you apart from a well-learned teacher. Now, this is what we have resulted so far. This is 1 kilometer. This is 1 kilometer. Now, in your question, this angle may not be what? 90 degrees. This angle may not be 90 degrees, maybe 20 degrees, 30 degrees. But once this angle, you have calculated it to be what? 90 degrees. To find the distance over here, which is distance over here, you have to use Pythagorean theorem. Repeat. You have to use what? Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem says if here is B, here is C, here is what? D. Now, this line over here, you are looking for it. This line becomes a square plus, sorry, this line becomes this a, this small a, this is b, this small, sorry, a b, this b, this small b, this is c, this small c. Now, if you're looking for this angle, this side here, this distance here becomes a square equals to square of these two. equals to what? C square plus what? B what? Square. If you work this out, you get your what? A. How can we do it? Now, A is unknown equals to what is C? C is this side. So if you just use this side and use this side, spread them both together, add it together, you're going to get this one. I get it. So what is our C? Our C here is 1. 1 square plus what? What is our B? Our B is 1. 1 square. I get it. So we have putting the you have inputted the what? The values. Now, what's that going to be? A is going to be what? The square root, because we have square here. To remove square, we're not looking for a, so we're looking for what? A. So to remove this square, we what? Root the both side. Root what? 1 raised to power 2 is what? 1 times 1 plus this raised to power 1 raised to power 2 is also what? 1. This is furthermore equals 1 plus 1 is what? Root what? 2. Now what is root 2? What is root 2? You take on your calculator, whatever it gives you becomes the distance of this side. I get it. Root 2 is root 2, but if you simplify it in your calculator, that which we gave you become the distance in here. Very easy and simple. Do you get it? Do you get it? Now, how about if you finish calculating your angle, the only important place is this place. If you can't, you must know this place. I get it. If you calculate this angle, if you after something, because it may not, if we want to change this now, the person will now move. If the person does not move 120 or 130, maybe angles are going to change. Then this place may result to less than 90 or greater than 90. You're no longer going to use Pythagorean theorem. You're going to use cosine law. It's also simple. Are you getting me? You're going to use what? Cosine law. And what does cosine law state? Cosine law state that this side also that you're looking for, call it a square. I get it. Is equals to eh, is equals to c square plus b square minus 2a 2cb. What is this 2cb? This 2cb are these two sides. I get it. What is still the cb? The cb is also what? These two sides. So if you use this side, square this other side, and then you minus it from 2 times these two sides. Also, you times it by the cos of this angle. The cos of this angle that is here. If it is 90 degrees, don't use this formula. If it is 20 degree, 30 degree, 40 degree, 100 degree, 120 degree, 230 degree, use this cosine cos theta. Now the theta is the angle you are cutting so far. Are you getting me? Theta is what? The angle you are cutting so far. Now when you input this formula and the values you have, now let's say that this angle was now 100 degree is what resulted from calculating this angle here. Let's say here it was what? 100 degree. What are you going to do? You're going to input that 100 degree over here. Inputting the 100 degree over here, we now have what? A square. This is this side I'm looking for. I getting becomes equals to 1 square plus 1 square minus 2 1 times 1 2 times 1 times 1 times cos 100. I getting it. You now press cos 100 on your book. Now square this, still going to give you 1 plus 1. Now this time this 2 times 1 2 times 1 also going to give us 2. Whatever cos 100 is on your book, you also write it here. I get it. Now when you do this plus this is going to give you 2 minus 2, whatever this cos is, you minus it, and this at the last point, you now what? Root the both side. You are getting your what? Your what? Distance. Are you getting me? Very easy and simple. Now another one you're going to be asked is the angle. You get me? You're going to be asked angle from what is the bearing of this point to this point. You get me? You're going to ask what? What is the bearing of C from A? So the person is at C, at last destination. What if the person now wants to, from his house, turn straight and start going to his what? Their friend's house. You don't want to go to the beer. So the person wants to, from his house, go straight to his dear friend's house. What will be the bearing? That's what? The bearing, find the bearing of C from A. Person now from here, move here. I get it. They can also ask, they will only ask you 2 questions. Number 1, the distance, and either this angle or this angle. I get it. Now the second question they will ask you, if they don't ask you this angle, they will ask you what is the bearing of A from C. What's the bearing of what? A from C. Now how are you going to calculate it? Very easy, simple. I'm going to solve one question here after long. Now it's very easy and simple. Now what are you going to do? If this same angle is 90 degrees, If I repeat, if this same angle is what? 90 degree. By that time, you have gotten what this distance. Let's say this distance is 2 kilometers. I get me. Now, if this distance is 90 degree, if you want to get this angle, eh, you're going to use tan theta equals to what? Opposite over what? Adjacent. You now get your theta. What is the opposite side? You know that if you have this angle 90 degree, normally if this is like this, this 90 degree here is normally in this place. This is 90 degree. Now 90 degree is here. The one facing becomes the what? Hypotenuse. Now which one is going to be the opposite? Is it here or this one? Now this is 90 degree. Automatically here becomes what? Hypotenuse. Do you get? Now if you are now asked to find the bearing of C from A, that is, you're asked to find this bearing. If here becomes the angle you're looking for, here now becomes the what? Opposite. Because here opposite must what? Be the line facing the what? Angle at the what? Triangle apart from 90 degrees. Here becomes the what? Opposite. And here automatically becomes your what? Adjacent. You get? Also, if the angle you're asked to find is A from C, this side now is facing this side. This side becomes the what? Opposite. This side becomes the what? Adjacent. Do you get it? So when you're not using, let's say we have to find it, this is opposite of B. Since we still have the same number, we have 1 over what? Opposite is what? I'm sorry. Opposite of B is 1. Adjacent is not going to be what? 1 is what? 1. I get it. Now, what's 1 over 1? 1 over 1 is what? And theta. 1 over 1 equals what? 1. But tan theta is not equal to 1. You have to find theta. Then, theta will now become the tan inverse of what? Tan inverse of 1. If you press shift tan, you get tan inverse. You press 1. You are not going to get your value here. Also with this, you're going to get your value here. You get very easy and simple. Now, what if now this angle, remember you're going to use tan theta when the angle is what? 90 degree. If it's not 90 degree, you're not going to use sine rule. If you write that, you're going to use what? Sine rule. Sine rule is very simple and also easy to use. Now, let's say this angle, after calculating this, we got it to be 100 degree. We have gotten here to be 2. You're not asked to find this side. Take here as A, take this place as small a, take here as B, take this place as small what? B. You get me? Now you're going to use the side you know. You're going to use B, you're going to know the side, you're going to use the side, you know the angle and the side. You know this angle, you know this side, you're going to use it. Now the one you have to find is what? A. You have to find A while you're giving what? This side here, the distance here. The formula says that A, small a over sine A. Sine means angle A equals to small b over sine B. Then C, small c over what? Sine what? C. Now you're only going to use 2. As you can see, I have B. I know my B, which is this angle. I also know my small b, which is this distance. And I'm asked to find what? I'm asked to find A. Why I know A? So I'm going to print this one. And I'm going to use this 2. What is my A? My A is what? 1 over. What is sine A? Sine A here is unknown. I'll put sine what? If I'm looking for theta. Equals what? What is my B? My B is what? 2. What is my sine? The angle on B? The angle on B what? Sine what? 100. Now I hope you know how to cross multiply. Now you now find sine 100. You find sine 100. You cross multiply with this. Cross multiply with this. At the end, your theta will now become what? Over sine inverse or whatever you get. You get me? So if you get your sine 100, that number will multiply by 1. This one multiply by this. You will first of all, sine is still here. You first of all, since 2 is multiplying by this, you divide whatever you multiply here. Let's that be S. Divide it by whatever you multiply here. Hope I don't need to go through this. You understand what I said? Now, when you do it, whatever you answer B becomes your what? Angle. Also with this side. Now let's try this question. It says, Y is 60 kilometers away from X and on a bearing of 135 degrees. From X means that it starts from what? So on a bearing of what? 135 degrees. 135 degrees is going to fall under which quadrant? Under what? You get. Now, B is 80 kilometers the distance away from MS on a bearing of 225 degrees. So what is 225 degrees for? It's going to fall here. I get it. 225 degrees is going to fall here. I mean, because here is 270. From here to here, so it's going to fall under this quadrant. You get. Now, if here is S, here is going to be what? Since this one is 135, here is going to be what? Y. Point Y will be here. Now, point Z is 80 kilometers away from S on a bearing of what? So Z is going to be here because Z is what? 227 kilometers. Hope you understood it. Okay? Find a distance of Z and Y. B bearing of Z from what? From Y. Now, before you answer this question, you must say you should draw it. You must draw it. Your diagram has mark. You must draw it. Now let's start. It says that Y is from S. Y is from S. And then it is what? 135. So this is X. This one X. Okay? Point X is this. Now, you have to locate 35, which is going to be the bearing of what? Y. So 35 comes from here. It's going to fall under this quadrant. Take it to this place. Now, this point now is going to be what? Our point. Let me bend this thing. Also the same thing. This is going to be our point what? Our point Y. You get? Now, what again do we have? Z is 80 kilometers away from S on a what? Bearing of what? 225. Now, 225, if you say we should complete this, you have to draw another one, another small one, complete this. Now, 225 is going to fall under this quadrant. That is this here. You get? Let me draw this right. Or still, let me draw it still. You get? Now, this is the drawing. This is S, this is Z, and this is what? Y. Now, this kilometer is what? 50 what? Kilometer. What is the kilometer of Z? Z is what? 80 what? Kilometer. Now, let's read the question. Let's read the question now. It says what? Y is what? 60 kilometers away from S. Away from S. So this is S, away from S. And on a bearing of what? 135. So this is the bearing. This bearing here is what? 135 degrees. Now, Z now is 80 kilometers away from S. 80 kilometers away from S. Away from S on a bearing of what? 225 degrees. Now, this 125 degree is going to be this one here. So let's put it 225 degrees. Do you get 225 degrees? Then find the distance of what? Z and Y. Z and Y. I told you. Find the distance of what? Z and what? Y. So this distance now is what you're looking for. But what did I told you? The main thing is what? Completing of what? This angle. How can we complete this angle? Now, if you look closely, this place is what? 135. You get? This place now is what? 135. From here to here is what? 135. Now remember, it enters into this quadrant. You get? This one enters inside this quadrant. Now, what angle does it enter inside? So if I can be able to minus that angle from angle 90 degrees, I'll get what this angle is all about. So now 135 minus what? 135 minus 90, which is this up part here. This is 135 minus this side here. And this side is going to give you what? 45 degrees. So what is here is what? 45 degrees. Here is what? 45 degrees. And what about this plate? If I take this as 90, now 45 degrees minus from the 90, which is from this side, means that this small part here is what? 45 degrees. This small part here is what? 45 part. Because I'm taking this, let me show you, so you will not be confused. Now, 135 is here, since here is 90, and this one is 135. 135 minus 90 means that, sorry, it means that it enters here under what? 45 degrees. 45 plus 90, 90 is going to be 135. Are you getting me? Now, to get this small angle now, we're going to do, since here is 90, also here is 90, but this 90 has gotten already 45. Now, 90 minus this part here, 45, is going to give us also what? 45. Means that this small place here is 45. Remember, this 225 belongs to what? This line from here to here. Do you get? Now, if it's 45, means that this place is what? 45. Let me now write this as 225 degrees. 225 degrees. Now, here's what? 40 what? 5 degrees. Now, what about this part? What about this small part here? What about this? I've gotten it because I want to complete what this angle will do. You get? Now, this is 45. What about this part? Now, how can I get that part? Now, look up. If this from here now to this place is 225, remember that this left line is what? 180. So from here to here is what? 180. So 180 minus from this whole angle, which is what? 225 is going to give us what? 180 minus from 4 is going to give us what? 20. Abi? Now 20 minus from 20 plus 25 is going to give us what? 45. Means that this space is also what? 45. And therefore, this 45 for this will give us what? 90 what degree. You see get it. 91 degree. That is this question. So this question is going to be as easy as possible, just like any other word question. Now, for you to now get this side over here, what are you going to do? You're going to use what? Pythagoras theorem. You speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up. Now call it S. Sorry, yes. Since it's S, yes, call it S. Now see, S is S square is equal to what? 60 square. Sorry, this is here. 60 square plus 80 square. So this is 80 plus 80 square. Are you getting it? Now, S square is equal to what is 60 square? 60 square is 3,600 plus what is 80 square? 80 square is 6,400. Now, because we're looking for S, not S square, you want need the word both side. You read the both side. What is this plus this? If you plus this plus this, you're going to get 10,000. Now, the root of 10,000 is going to give you what? 100. Is that so? Yeah, root of 100 is 101 kilometers. So this S now is what? 100 kilometers. You see how easy and sweet is it? Very easy. Just get this one angle. Now, what is S again? Bearing of what? Z from Y. Bearing of what? Z. Sorry, Z from Y. So now, bearing of Z from Y, you're looking for this bearing. The bearing that this person is going to turn from north, and start moving with this one line. Because the person is at the last destination. For the person to come back, you're going to turn from north and move with this line coming back again. How can we get that angle? First of all, you need to what? Get this angle over here. You need to what? Get this angle. If you get this angle, you now minus this will what? 360. You get. How can we get this angle? Now, still because we have angle 90, not knowing that without wasting much time, we're going to use what? We need to use what? Tan theta. We're going to use tan theta because tan theta is equal to what? You have what? Tan theta is going to be equal to what? Opposite over what? Adjacent. Tan theta is equal to opposite over what? Adjacent. So that tan theta, then put it here. Tan theta is equal to opposite over what? Adjacent. Now, what is the opposite? Opposite is the angle. It's like the same angle you asked to find. This angle, this is opposite. Opposite is what? 80 what degree over what? The adjacent become what? 60 what degree. This cancel this. Are you getting it? Now, tan theta is equal to 8 over 6. Tan theta is equal to, all right, this is going to give you 1.333. 8 over 6, 1.33. Now you're not looking for tan, you're looking for only theta. Hence, theta now becomes tan inverse of this. Tan inverse of 1.333. The theta now is going to be what? Theta is going to become 53.12. Finish. Is what theta. So this angle here is what? 53 point what? 12 what? Degree. But is that the bearing? No. This is just an angle inside here. But why do we get that angle in the first place? Because it's going to help us to do what? To locate, to know what is remaining here. Now the bearing is going to be from Y to this place. Are you getting me? But we know that, look at that point. That point is like this. We have gotten here to be what? To be 53.12 degree. Now we are not looking for the bearing of here to here, just like here to here. But we know that this whole angle give us what? 3 what? 60 degree. Now if I use 360 degree and minus this side and also minus this side, I will now get this remaining part, which is what? The bearing, back bearing from here to here. Now my problem now is, how can I get this angle? How can I what? Get it? Because I must use this angle and some which I minus on what? 360 to get what? This back bearing here, because the whole angle here is 360. But I don't still have this angle. In order to use and add this one, I'm also from 360. How can I get it? Alternating angle still works. Now remember that this line and this line are parallel. I get it. Now this angle here must alternate to this angle here. Alternating angle. If this is 45, it's going to be what? 45. Hence, I will now say that 53, and I say that 53 on that page, on that side, you see that 53.12 degree plus 45 in bracket minus 180 is going to give you what? The back bearing. Now, when you do it, sorry, minus 360, I need to minus 360, or you start from 360 minus this, so it's going to give you a positive number. 360 minus this, I get it. It's going to give you 2 262. I don't know if I'm correct with this number. Solve it, let me know your correction if I'm correct. It's going to give what? 260. Now, this 262 is correct. This is 262 is the bearing, is the angle that remains here. And that is what the bearing, that is what the back bearing. So, V from Y is that the person will move from Y under North Pole and stop here on the end of what? 862. And the person will now go back to what? The destination. So, this one is what? 262. And this other one is what? Is 100. So it's very easy. Let's look at another question.
All right, I'm so sorry. I cannot be able to solve the other question that will not have 90-degree because my phone space has already been what consumed. I'm going to put the question on the comment section. Now you're going to WhatsApp me with this number on the screen to drop your answer to it, or I'll give you the solution to the question I'm going to drop on the comment section. You'll see how to solve whether when it is not 90, but it's also easy and simple. You get. You want to know how to plot graph? WhatsApp me still on this number. Price is 1,000 naira. I'm going to teach you before your WAEC time. 1,000 naira to learn how to plot graph. See you on my WhatsApp channel and as well my WhatsApp group. Bye bye.